Yeah, he certainly does. A lot of his styles end up being a bit wacky. It's hard to predict what he's going for. You scout him and you're just kind of like, what is he doing? And then you die to it and you're like, oh, okay, well, guess that worked out really well for him. But we'll soon find out what these guys are going to whip out against each other in game number 1 on Bridgehead. Let's hop into it. In the right-hand side of the map, he is the Red Protoss. He is Lobo.
And over on the left-hand side of the map, we have our pink Zerg from the Philippines. It is TMK.
Is it just me, or did they add more Zerg sounds? Sorry, this is completely off topic, but there's like more ambient noise. I don't know if it's the map or Zerg, or I've just never paid attention before because I'm always listening to the sound of my own voice. I swear, it sounds like there's like crickets or something.
No, I don't have that noise.
Like frogs.
I don't have ambient noises turned on. So.
Let's see. Yeah. It must be, I must have just noticed because this is like the Legacy of the Void client. And my settings are different to my normal ones. That would be it. I feel like I'm going crazy. I was like, is that my house or is it like in the game?
Yeah. I mean, when I started doing the observing and stuff for like WCS, Baldy was very adamant that he wanted his ambient sounds on, and listening to the game through that, I was like, oh, there's a few sounds I've never heard before through here.
Yeah. Yeah, I always end up turning the sound really low when I'm casting because I end up like speaking louder because I'm speaking over the game sounds. I'm like, oh wait, this is not what stream is hearing. We're probably speaking unnecessarily loudly.
This is Maynard's secret, guys. Shh.
Maynard's just loud. No. I'm full trying to be like matching his volume, and he's just like, why are you so quiet? I'm like, I'm yelling. Why can't you hear me? It's not fair, man.
And Lobo is waiting for the timing of his third base, and he hasn't seen it just yet. Just checking out the other base just in case. And stuff may start to turn in his head here as might whip out something a little bit crazy. He's found himself a nice little nook here at the very southwest of the map, and this could very well be something cheeky. Could be.
I'll see if he proxies anything. It would be the first time we've seen some proxies in this game, in this tournament, I should say, because they were a little bit prevalent throughout the matches that we've had the pleasure of watching. But so far, no one's been game enough to do that just yet. I guess it's hard to proxy when you're a Zerg. Proxy hatch isn't really a thing at the moment. Oh, this poor drone's going to get picked off by a very adept. Oh, the jukes are real, though.
Can you say that? No.
Poor little drone friend. Well, he's got some links coming out now, so he should be able to bat away that adept with not too much trouble. Can also head across the map, check third location, that kind of thing. Just make sure he's kept tabs on what Lobo is doing. It looks like so far though that Lobo has started with the same as what pretty much anyone else does.
What is going on? Alright, but anyway, that was a strange noise. But back on the other side of the map here for TMK, he's finally taking up his third base with a lair in tow, and checking out the timing here, Lobo, he's going to be like, alright, something might be heading across my way. And something that I've heard that has been getting very popular in the Zerg versus Protoss matchup is the Ling Bane aggression at the front of the base here, and this could very well be that, as a Baneling nest is starting up here for TMK.
Yeah, indeed. He's looking for anything that might be roaming around the map with those feelings. Apologies for that noise before. I sit on top of a garage and they opened the roller door, which apparently vibrates my entire floor, as I just found out. But yeah, so not too much to note just yet in this game. Both players are just keeping it pretty chill, pretty low-key for the moment. Once, perhaps, we could see a Warp Prism come out from Lobo. That's kind of what I expected him to do, be going like the same opener as Bliss does. But it looks like he's just going for a bit of a later one here, while the Spire comes up for a TMK, so perhaps he'll be able to catch him off guard with this. The Scout is going to come out for Lobo now though, so his secret may be revealed very shortly.
Interesting enough here, we saw the Banelands come out. It looks like he was looking for an opening, but I think when he picked up the ramp there and saw the sentries, is like, oh, I can't really commit to this. Force fields are going to be really heavy on me, but he's still making banelings anyway here. He's expecting something to come across the map his way. Even Spinecrawler's coming down. He hasn't seen a third base, so that would be a bit of a tick-off for him, but oh man, I don't know. Like, Blisk is just kind of, sorry, not Blisk, Lobo's just kind of chilling at the moment. His gateway count isn't really that high. He's starting to add them on though as I say this.
Yep. Certainly is. And all walled off at the back too, just to make sure that nothing can sneak through there while he's out of his base, I guess. But in comes a Warp Prism. Not a lot of vision here, but I think it's close enough that he should notice it fairly quickly. Send the Lings over there, and he's indeed running across there right now with all his Lings and Banes. Bane's slowly waddling behind them, actually. They're quite slow.
Yeah, focusing down the Queen. He wants to save these depths, but he... Oh man, I keep forgetting the range of that Warp Prism, and he was able to pick them up just as one was about to fall there. But we're seeing Baneling speed come out here from Emperor.
I feel like Emperor could actually hit with quite a big push at the front of Lobo's base, because he's going for a third base right now. And if you look at his army, it's really not big. Like, that's not a lot of stuff. So he's got like a force field ring to do to save his army, and then after that he's really got nothing left. So this army that TMK has right now could actually just outright kill his opponent. But unfortunately he does have to pay attention to this Warp Prism. Hey pal, that's not your enemy.
But yeah, a little bit of a misclick there. Hopefully he picks up on this. There we go. He does switch the oh, I think he almost clicked that with his Lings as well. Then they got all wrapped around it for a second. But he does realise what he's doing and packs up and leaves for the moment. But this Warp Prism man's still being threatening down in the bottom left here.
Yep. Well, that's going to be a bit of a pain in the backside, but what he can do is maybe just leave a few Lings just to chase that around if he needs to, and start putting some pressure on the front as soon as those mutas pop. Because, you know, one Adept isn't exactly terrifying to deal with.
No, not at all. But this is allowing Lobo, to get a scout off on what is going on in the army here. He knows there's a Spire not too far away, so you see that double Stargate come rocking out here for Lobo. And they are a little bit late for the time being, so the mutas, if they get across the map, they can be annoying, and this Warp Prism though could very well be the first thing that gets picked off here. Yeah,
certainly. Lobo, he seems to do things quite slowly. You know, he takes the third very slowly, he walls it off after a little while, then he goes into double Stargate. So it seems like he's actually very, very comfortable against what Emperor's doing. He's not too worried, which is good, of course. That means his build is going pretty much how he would want it to. I guess the double Stargate is the most reactive part we've seen of his build so far, and that Warp Prism will go down. But having killed that Warp Prism, that actually buys time for the first couple of Phoenixes to come out. Once they're out, these mutas aren't actually going to be able to do too much, because there's only, you know, a handful of them on the map so far, and it's going to take a while to get that count up. But if he can close the distance between his mutas and those Phoenixes, then he's going to be in a bit of trouble, because this is a fairly chunky ground army.
Indeed, it is a Warp Prism. Oh, sorry, Observer almost getting picked off there. Does find a little bit of Grace Reservice here, just kind of lagging behind there for the Zerg Force. But he's going to try and find himself a new spot to attack, and he's going to let the mutas go to town on that. Oh, I can't quite pick off that Observer once again.
Yep, he's going to try and swing around from a different angle and get behind all these defenses, which is a smart move. One of the reasons why Bridgehead can be a little bit tricky to defend on. Oh, but he's ready with that single stock scout and does wall him off.
Oh, he's got Ravages though, so he can break it down. These bangs are coming in. Oh man.
Oh no!
Those models actually did quite a good job of tanking that. Those hardened shields did come out. Now he's got the Phoenix to help with the muta count as well. And this is going to be a difficult hold here for Lobo, but it looks like he should be able to hold. Pylon Overcharge just going off in the background. Phoenix is cleaning up the Mutalisk, and that is the entire Zerg army gone, and Lobo takes himself a supply lead here.
Yeah, both of them really took a beating after that engagement. But Lobo does get the better end. He has all these Phoenixes. Look how many Overlords he's about to kill.
Yeah,
he just
crawlers.
comes up a little bit close. There's no way the mutas are contesting that.
Oh.
He's trying to hydro down. Oh, these mutas, these flashy new mutas are
Yeah,
all
they're
going to
all
be
going
torn
down.
apart. That's like 700 gas right there.
And now he's starting to focus down some overlords where he can. There's Spore Crawlers haven't quite finished. Going to get himself a queen here, which is going to be an awesome pickup. Lings are going to try and head across the map, but not before more and more overlords go down here for Emperor.
Yeah. At this stage, Lobo has so many Phoenixes, he doesn't actually care about losing a couple. Double Stargate, you know, he can replenish those so quickly. He knows the days of the mutas are over for the time being. And the supply block is incredible right now for the Zerg. He's trying to churn out a few Hydras, but that's actually not enough. Like, he needs those 5 in a group with Spore support or Queens or something if he wants to be able to take out those Phoenixes with that.
He's just finding more and more overlords. He's actually picked off 9 overlords so far this game with these Phoenix.
Ouch.
And looks like there's more to come.
Yep, it certainly does look to be that way. And there's a warp prism in the top left as well, which just warped in and loaded up a bunch of zealots. So he can start doing this multi-pronged harass. And I feel like Emperor is now going to be stuck in his base for quite a long time. Between these Phoenixes and the warp prism harass. Oh, he's actually going to lose it? He does.
Yep, but he does pull the army back here just to be annoying, and this is where the Phoenix could come in and be a lot more annoying. He's seen the amount of overlords that were hanging around this base while his warp prism went in there, so it's just going to see what the army movement of TMK is going to be, and then here we go, he dives in, he's going to find a muta straight away, gets himself an overseer. He's just stuff for the picking everywhere here. A couple of lone hydras get picked off as well, and Lobo's just picking TMK apart in every which way right now.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to come back from this, actually, because Lobo's had a lot of breathing room behind this. He's 50 supply up. He's taking a 4th base. He's totally untouched. So despite losing the bulk of his ground army, he's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, he's killed so much. If you look at the resources lost, that really tells the story, I think, at this point.
It's terrible. But, man, these Phoenix are still being so annoying, but there's nothing really to shut them away just yet. We don't see any, like, infestation pit just yet here from TMK, but he just can't afford it at this current time. He's trying to get units out to scramble against the forces and the follow-ups here from Lobo, and the Lobo follow-up is going to be disruptors.
That certainly is. Heading into that Blink Disruptor composition, which is actually quite popular in PvT at the moment, but certainly works against Zerg as well. And he's getting very close to maxed out, which is quite scary. He's moving out at this point as well, going, you know what, I think I have enough to kill this Zerg outright, and he would be correct at this point. DT Shrine coming up behind this just in case he needs it as well. Lurkers look to be the flavor of the day for Emperor. That's what he's betting on to get himself out of this tight spot, but it's just not going to finish quick enough.
Yeah, and he doesn't know these back rocks are being taken down right now, and he's just going to walk into the base. There's so many Blink Stalkers here. Actually, are they blinked? Yes, they are blink, and starts the force field off. The reinforcements can't make their way back up there. The Phoenix is going to be annoying at other bases while the army tries to come here and defend this natural, and the Phoenix are going to town on some more overlords here. That 3rd base completely cut off. He can force field once again, and he will take fights a little bit at a time. Picks off that natural base and will make his way out, but I don't know, I think Lobo can stay a little bit longer here. He's so far up in supply.
You can. I think he could actually dip into there again and just go for the main. He's got force fields. Even if he doesn't commit, he's pulling that army back there, and the Phoenixes can keep being super annoying because Emperor, he can't actually get any further up in supply, not just because now he actually doesn't have the money, but because his overlords only just popped again. You know, he has to keep remaking them every chance he gets, because there's just simply so many Phoenixes out. The poor thing can't seem to keep a hold of them.
Yeah, 15 overlords in total gone down so far. 10 lurkers on the way. This could be a pretty big saving grace here for against the ground army, but that's a ground army. There's a lot of Phoenix in the air, and those can pick up those lurkers if they have the observer with the army, which doesn't look like there is one at the moment.
Yeah, he needs to borrow those like right now and hope that he just walks straight over them, because at this stage, even if he does lose this entire army, look at how much Lobo is expanding behind this. He's already on 6 bases. Well, the 6th one is coming up now. Well, let's see if these lurkers can do the job.
No, they're going to start going to work, and they still do some serious damage with +1 attack. He's trying to pick them up, but those Phoenix are actually getting decimated by the Hydras that are hanging back, and the Spore Crawlers. So that was not a bad trade there for TMK.
No, not too bad actually. Did a lot better than I thought it would. But at the same time, you know, Lobo's expanding right in his face. He's going to have a reinforcement point there. He's got so much money. He's happy to lose some of these units because he can just remake them super quick.
Oh, those Locust are all bunched up. If you can see this, he'll pop off a bunch of the Disruptors right on top of him. That's what it's going to do.
Disruptors! Oh. Oh, we can't afford to remake those. Nice moves from Lobo there.
And man, the economy for Lobo is starting to really hit hard. He's got a lot of bank starting to occur up here, getting back up to max, adding in more gates for huge reinforcements. He's got himself a Warp Prism to help out this reinforcement as well. +2 attack about to be done for him. He's got plenty of disruptors on the field. There's a drone for TMK just wandering around trying to see how many bases have been taken.
Yeah, and you know what? It's DT time as well. Couple of DTs walking straight into the main. At the same time, Lobo's going to push the front of this third base again because the army is completely out of position for just a couple of DTs. He's really not got a lot left.
Yeah, and he knows the position of those Lurkers, of course, so disruptor shots are going to start going out. Doesn't quite kill a few Lurkers there, but it looks like TMK knows it's over. And he will GG, and Lobo takes game number 1 here on Bridgehead.
He certainly does. Yeah, I feel like that was a really chill game, and suddenly Lobo flicked a switch and just ruined TMK's day. So we'll see how game number 2 goes. Glad to see the spread of units we saw in that match though, because we saw like all the basic Zerg units, plus Lurkers, and then we saw Disruptors, DTs. What else? I don't know. We saw a whole bunch of stuff.
The Warp Prism going to work. We saw Phoenix, which is something I haven't seen really too much in Legacy of the Void just yet. So, yeah, I guess it was something that TNK just really wasn't expecting, and it really hurt. He lost so many Overlords. He lost a couple of Overseers as well, so it was definitely upwards of that 15 we saw towards the end there. So, this Phoenix man, they got their job done. And, I mean, he did lose them all in a fight there when he was trying to take out the Lurkers, but they were worth their weight in gold. They did plenty of work for him.
Yeah, for sure. I think TMK's strategy there was something like a 3 base Ling Bane muta timing or something along those lines, because he didn't really get any upgrades, and he had a whole lot of Ling and Bane early on before his mutas even popped. So it seemed like maybe he wanted to hit in a couple of places at once or hit in one big wave, that kind of thing, but the way Lobo was set up defensively, it was just, he couldn't get in there.
Yes.
And also, like, the fact that Lobo had enough time to get 2 Stargates quite comfortably and then churn out Phoenixes in time for that to hit, makes me think that perhaps Emperor TMK needs to make that hit sooner, or just, you know, like, tweak it a little bit so that that's not the position he ends up in. Because if the Phoenixes hadn't have been out by that point, I think he would have just won the game, because it looked pretty strong at that point. He cleaned up, I think, the entire ground army, bar like 3 Stalkers with what he had, even being fired upon by Phoenixes in the air. So I think he had the right idea. It was just maybe a little bit late or something.
Yeah, another key point is that Warp Prism, he kind of let it get around too much. Like, he was pulling in left, right, and center. If you can get something just to, like, try and keep it out of the base, a couple of Hydras, like maybe 2 on patrol somewhere, just like in areas where he's not really kind of keeping his mass of army, and if you can keep the Warp Prism out of his base, because that is the thing that allowed the scout of that Spire there of Lobo, and that is the point where the match kind of turned on its head there for TMK.
Yeah, the Warp Prism is just so good right now, and Protoss is really taking advantage of it. You know, like, if you open with the Warp Prism harass, it doesn't matter what you put in that Warp Prism. As long as you keep it alive, you're going to do a great job, and it certainly makes it really difficult as a Zerg to keep your macro up and keep an eye on that Warp Prism / any units that it might drop out all over the place. So we'll see if we have the Warp Prism come out again in game number 2. We're heading into Orbital Shipyard this time.
Yeah, very similar situation as when we saw Blisk versus Demilov. We got that kind of easy 3 bases there for Lobo, but we'll see if he puts them to use this time around, because I feel he's got that one map to play with. He could see something quite aggressive come out here from Lobo.
Yep, we could indeed. I think it's very hard to predict this Lobo character. He just kind of does stuff and it works, and it's it kills you very easily.
Yeah, and, I don't know. What can TMK do this time? I think if he sets himself up comfortably on his 3 bases again, if he was watching the Demilov game, take a little bit of notes there. See what Demilov did to set up that defense that just won him a serious fight against Blisk early on. I like the way he set up his spine crawlers a little bit back from the ramp. He had plenty of queens available to him. I really want to see something similar like that out of TMK this game. And hope for the best as we go into Orbital Shipyard here, guys, and spawning. In the upper right here, we have our red Protoss from Singapore. It is Lobo.
And in the bottom left, he is another Filipino player. 3 Filipino representatives in this tournament. Solid effort from those guys. This is TMK.
Alright. Lobo, what have you got in store? He's throwing down just the initial gateway for now, but I want to see how Emperor opens this game. If he goes for a double hatch before pull, and I feel like he could get away with something like that against Lobo, but I don't know, man. Like, as I was saying before, Lobo's got that one map to play with, and I think we could see that aggressive play.
Yeah, certainly. I think, I mean, why not? Like, go full Ender style and just take 3 hatches. No one really punishes you for it. Not, at least not out of these players that we've seen throughout this tournament, because everyone pretty much just lets it happen. So it's certainly a good way to get yourself into a good economical position, especially considering that the Protoss games that we've seen so far today have been revolved around 3+ base. So it's not like it's necessarily a 2 base attack. Oh, I actually Blisk did one 2 base strategy, but he did end up with a 3rd in the end. Yeah, we'll see what he comes up with. Like, it could be a 2 base. I'm not sure what he would do. Like, I just can't predict what Lobo is ever going to do in a game.
Yeah, and Lobo seeing that 3rd base is being taken. You saw that drone leave the base, but it's just going to make sure that they take the base and not head across the map. So he will confirm that 3rd base coming down. And this, I'd be interested to see where this probe is going to head. But looks like it's heading back home for the time being. Drone scout coming out here as well. I actually didn't even see that get out there for TMK, but he gets a nice scout off here. He sees pretty much everything that he needs to, and he heads off back home.
Yeah, long before anything can really kill that drone. Which is nice, just slips in and out. And yes, it's going to be the good old Adept opening once again. So with the information that TMK just got, he's probably just like, yeah, that looks to be pretty much what's going to happen to me yet again. Protosses aren't deviating from that too much. And I would assume that he's probably expecting some more Prism play again here. But, you know, Lobo could actually switch it up. He could go for the Stargate that we were talking about earlier in the cast. That's certainly an easy way to switch it up, especially when you just keep getting hit with these sort of robo-based builds early on. You might actually just be like, oh yeah, I forgot Stargate was a thing.
Yeah, and TMK is actually already on the ball trying to find something like this. This drone that's coming back across the map for him has been all over the place trying to see what's going on. But this Adept, it's looking in dire straits. If it gets surrounded here, he's trying to run it out. He's off the creep, but he needs to be careful waiting for that teleport. And he will get out for now. But he knows he can't really get in, can't do too much more with the Adept, so he'll just try and get out across the map as fast as he can and head back home. But Robo coming up here for Lobo, and what Prism gonna be his probable choice here? Yeah.
I guess a Robo a day keeps a doctor away at this stage. It's just what you see in every Protoss versus game in the opening. And, you know, why not? Like, it's such a strong opening. It leads nicely into, like, an Immortal Blink composition. We saw Lobo eventually mix in Disruptors to that as well, so you can follow up with a pretty hefty punch if you want to. And he's going to scout this too, so hopefully that will give that little scouting drone a rest, because he's figured out what the tech is at this point. And that's a pretty normal timing as well.
Yeah, the drone wasn't convinced for quite a while. He was making sure he checked every kind of nook and cranny on his side of the map. Even Ling's still looking around for something that could be found. And, I mean, I guess he's got a good read on his opponent here. He knows he can be very aggressive here. So playing the safety game is always best. And but there's a huge amount of gateways about to finish up here for Lobo. I think, how many is that? He's already got 1, so he's going up to 7 gates here. No forge, so 7-gate warp prism attack here, and it's going to be an interesting timing. Let's see if TMK is on the ball here. He hasn't thrown down any spine crawlers just yet, adding on gases of his own, actually taking all of his gases. Baneling Nest is a choice here for his defense, and that is something I actually like to see.
Yeah, this one's gonna be pretty brutal. Like these attacks hit harder and fast, and they really rip you a new one if you're not ready for it. He's gonna head up here with a few links and see these units head out. I'm not sure if he caught a glimpse of that warp prism, but he can probably assume it's there at this point. He sees it now. But he's got a little bit of time before he's got his optimal defense up. You know, he's still sitting on the Ling Bane. His lair is finished, but he's dropping spines. He needs to wait for his Baneling Nest. His speed's not quite done yet. He's even making an extra couple of queens, and those will help out for a transfuse or 2. But this is not going to be easy to hold. No,
he's basically relying on Ling Bane here to hold it for him. He's got no Roach Warren, which means no Ravages, and queens and spines here for this hold. And once Lobo picks up on this, the Roaches are such a long time away, but is hitting before these spine crawlers can even go up, and this is hugely problematic here for TMK in this defense. Band's going off trying to do their best they can, but they have all gone down, and this third base location is under siege. Those force fields cannot be broken, no Ravages available, and units are going to start falling left, right, and center. He does lose his Mothership Core, he does get a little bit lazy there. Lings are coming out trying to do the best they can, but that's just going to be it, and Lobo 2-0 victory here over TMK.
Well, very well played to Lobo, who will stay alive as this is the loose bracket, so unfortunately that ends